It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for February 23rd, 2024. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, January Circana sales are in, and everyone needs to buckle up for the Uncharted 2 Mark Wahlberg mustache ride. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host of Game Mess Mornings. It's Timur Hussein, everybody. Tam, how are you doing?
Hello, everyone. I'm feeling great. Jeff, can you share the document with me?
Listen, you're so needy, Tam. You're always asking for basic needs to do your job. It's kind of getting out of hand. You're kind of a diva.
I'd like to know what we're going to talk about today.
A little bit of a diva, bud. All right, there it is. There you go.
I'm doing good. I'm excited.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, hey, glad to have you back for DREGSDAY. We got there's a lot to talk about from Circana, but the rest of it's kind of Dregsy, and we'll get into all of it here pretty soon.
Circana sounds like a bug.
I didn't tell them to change their name from MPD to Circana, and
it's a bad change. It's one of the worst rebrands, perhaps of all time.
Yeah, and I do kind of want to just keep saying MPD, but that's not their name anymore. I guess I'm never gonna call Twitter X, mostly because it makes my skin fucking crawl. But this isn't the same thing, and yet it's also not good either. NPD. It's a lot of times I'm just gonna keep saying that. But hey,
I feel like anytime someone says Circana, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think most people. When I said it, I think most people are in the same boat as you. And not like MPD is like some household name, but definitely the people listening to the show would probably recognize MPD before they would Circana. Have you recovered from your slog to review Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Seems like you worked pretty hard on that, bud.
Oh man, I haven't. I don't know if I'll ever recover from the things that I do, if I'm honest. It's funny because I went into it tired, and I came out of it even more tired, but still also tired.
It's been kind of nonstop. I was talking to Mike about that, and he's like, when he was doing that review, it's like, it's like one game after another, like all kinds of stuff to do.
And I went to DICE in between as well.
You went to
like
friggin' DICE. Yeah, it's nuts.
Man,
and then it's like GDC's happening, PAX is happening, so it's not going to slow down. And there's plenty of games I still want to play. So yeah, it's a busy time of year still.
I'm very excited to hopefully play Helldivers. It seems like they've figured that stuff out.
This weekend I'm going to spend some time with Helldivers. Yeah, I'm like making an appointment with myself to just hop on there. I even got it installed on the Steam Deck now, and I'm like, I'm going to solo queue even and just go play with some randoms. I don't care. I want to get some more Helldivers under my belt.
Is that a good way to do it? Because I'm going to be honest, I don't have a lot of people to play video games with.
I've heard that it's a completely fine way to do it. Like, it's not obviously it's ideal if you got your crew. But I've heard a lot of people have very successful times going on there and playing with strangers. And most of the time it's pretty good. You're going to have the occasional person who is just going to go out and lone wolf it and be frustrating to play with. But that happens even if you're playing with your friends. See me. Hello, everybody. So, yeah.
Nikki, I'll play with you.
Let's make it happen. I'll be online this weekend. All right, you know what? Let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart.
Hello, YouTube.
There he is. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with the January 2024 Circana/MPD report. This is from Matt Piscatella over at Circana. For the January 2024 in the United States video game market, highlights included sales up about 15%. That's to about over $5 billion, $5.1 billion, where it was around four and change last year. Most of that came down to a big amount of growth for software and accessories. Seemingly the PlayStation Portal charging some of that for accessories.
Listen, I took that thing to DICE to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in my hotel room where no one else could see it, so I didn't break embargo. And let me tell you, it didn't fucking work. It is a piece of shit. Every time I use it, I get more angry with it. I'm like, oh my god.
I mean, it's an Android tablet with the DualSense stuck to the side, and the Android app version of the PlayStation Network streaming, whatever the hell they call it, is not great. It doesn't get the love it needs.
I also did not know this, and apparently it's like I looked afterwards and it was everywhere. If you have like hotel Wi-Fi where it does the pop-up that you need to put details into, just straight up does not work.
Really?
Like the device says this does not work. Like you cannot do it because it's got a pop-up. So that's dumb. So I
Even
like hot-spotted it.
I think even like the DS could handle that at a certain point. Like that's wild.
It could. Yeah, it's baffling. I do not understand. I assume it's some sort of security thing where they don't want people like
maybe
backdooring into PlayStation Network accounts or something
probably
like that.
what it is. Yeah, but still.
Like I still don't understand it. And here's the thing, right? Like I use it. I've said this many times in my apartment. Like I've used it right next to my PS5, and it still is not good. I keep using it. I keep using it because it is a way to play PlayStation 5 while I'm like watching a TV in a different room. But it is not ideal.
I continue to be very happy with Chiaki for Deck for the Steam Deck, the open source thing that someone made.
I think I might have to try that out.
Give it a shot, and if you're still having issues, maybe it's something in the router. But you got a new router, so I don't know, man. I don't know.
I got two. So that router I got, okay.
Yeah.
It's the very high end Asus, whatever the fuck it's called.
Right.
Nighthawk. I bought another one of the same one, and it fixed things.
It did.
It did. But like I'm using the previous one as now an extender.
Okay. So, you can do that.
Thingy, and it is ridiculous. I've got like that thing is way too expensive for.
Yeah, that's a bit overkill.
And I feel like every time I look at it, I'm like, that's a $350 extender just sitting there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like that meme of the poking something that's been like, do something.
Listen, you paid the money for it, you might as well do something with it. But yeah, like I can like one room to the next and it's extending just that far. It's like, okay, yeah, overkill.
Yeah.
The comparison here might not be too useful. Matt points out that this month's January was a 5-week tracking period for them. Last year's was 4 weeks. So who cares about the comparisons? Not going to be able to get much out of that. What we can look at is the best-selling games from January. I'm going to list some games that came out, Tam, and then let's see if we can figure out where they should be. New games in January include Tekken 8, Suicide Squad, Persona 3 Reload, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown, whatever the hell that was called, and Jujutsu Kaisen. Those are the 6 new games on the chart. Which one of those do you think was the best-selling game of January?
Tekken
8 was indeed the best-selling new game. That was behind Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which was the top-selling game of the month.
I reckon it goes Tekken, Suicide Squad.
Right.
Persona.
Yep. That's right.
Like a Dragon.
Correct.
Last of Us. And then
Last of Us, that was new the month before.
Last of Us was
new the month before.
And then Prince of Persia after that.
Yes, that's right. And then Jujutsu Kaisen was way down at 19.
Do you know how I guessed that?
Did you just look at the doc that I sent you?
You shared the document with me, and I'm looking at it.
Just because I share it with you doesn't assume you're going to look. Most of my send that people, they're like, okay, cool, I got it. And then they never look at it again.
No, I'm reading it.
It does its job, everybody. Now, Tekken 8 doing better than Suicide Squad. I think deservedly so. But, hey, Suicide Squad took a long time to make.
I reckon if they put Jin Kazama in Suicide Squad,
that would have helped, right?
It would boost sales of that so significantly.
Absolutely.
Imagine Jin Kazama punching the shit out of Superman.
Oh, I imagine that every day. And now I need it.
Every DC fan, including me, goes, that would not work because Superman would destroy him. Not in Suicide Squad.
Not in Suicide Squad.
The version of Superman in that game is a chump, and he gets dealt with easy. So
Matt on Twitter was asked, hey, did Suicide Squad do better or worse than Arkham Knight? And then he was like, it did, or it sold and there's ellipses lower, which I think implies, yeah, it did much worse than Arkham Knight. I think we can suss that much out. I think we've heard that Tekken 8 in its first month of sales did a 2 million copies, so about 2 million copies. Suicide Squad clearly has done less than that. At the same time, I think we heard Like a Dragon has done about 1 million copies in a few weeks. Now, that's not going to be all included here in the January sales in the United States or whatever. But Suicide Squad at number 3, that is, I think, rough sailing for that game that needed to do much better. We will have more on that. But, hey, that's not great. As far as everything else, though, Persona 3 at number 4, that's pretty good. Like a Dragon, even at number 7, that's a game, that's a franchise that is on the ascent here. And that's a decent enough start. And it's probably going to have pretty good legs as well.
Yeah. Jujutsu Kaisen at 20 is not a surprise.
Right.
But,
making the chart, still. That's pretty good. I do wish Prince of Persia would have done better. I didn't include them here. There is a breakdown by platform of best-selling games. Prince of Persia did not show up in the top 10 for either Xbox or PlayStation. It did show up in the top 10 on Switch, so it seems like, of course, it's doing most of its business there. But even there, it was like number 4 or 6 on that chart or whatever. That game deserved better. Maybe it's doing. Maybe it will continue to do better. Who knows?
I hope so. What a banger of a game!
What a good game! Absolutely. A 15% increase in total projected spending on video game content drove the market's overall gain. Growth in digital content spending across console, PC, VR platforms, along with a 5% increase in mobile game spending, led the way. Now, as part of the rebrand over there at MPD, they've switched around a focus on games that sell at retail to a focus on the wider game market. And that has led them to start talking about engagement, which leads us to Palworld was January's biggest new release story, ranking first in monthly active users on Steam in the US during January, according to Circana's player engagement tracker, while placing third on Xbox platforms behind only Fortnite and Call of Duty. Fortnite once again led in monthly active users across both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles, with Call of Duty HQ ranking second across both platforms. And Shrouded was the only new release outside of Palworld to rank among the top 10 titles in the US for monthly active users on tracked platforms. So I think it's hey, we just talked about those 6 new games on the sales chart. None of them are really going to be in the conversation for most played games. That is you're going to have this decent launch. You're going to make some money. But the top of the market is pretty much saturated and stagnate a little bit. It is the same games as always. People are just happy to go back to Fortnite and Call of Duty still, and that's the way it is. And now MPD is beginning to put that into context here a little bit. Do you think with Suicide Squad, Skull and Bones, we really are at the end of these big companies trying things like that, right? The next time they come around and have those studios make those kinds of games, it's going to have to look very different, right?
I would like to say yes. But I feel like we're not through this currently. I think that the belief that companies will make a mistake and learn their lesson is naive.
Yeah,
to
maybe.
a degree, because CEOs and execs truly are the dumbest people.
Well, investors are the dumbest. Executives are
Investors
second
are dumbest. Executives are second dumbest.
Yeah.
For the most part. There are some executives, especially in the industry, that are very smart and know exactly what they're doing and are sometimes often in a weird situation. But I think that the current Warner CEOs and the ones that are just behaving like absolute lunatics with all their content is going to make that?
No faith.
No, I don't think so. No, I got no faith in Ubisoft.
That's
I don't know how it got this far. I'm not being rude, but 11 years of Skull and Bones. How do you not at some point go, no, this is crazy, just stop this?
That's the story of both Skull and Bones and Suicide Squad. Just follow-ups to games in one way or another that happened about a decade ago. And it took all that time and a lot of way too much money for any kind of game, let alone one that people are just, Skull and Bones especially, no one was even really having a good time with that game. They were making fun of it.
If it wasn't, like if the game wasn't enough of a kind of repulsion in every aspect of it, it came out at the same time as Microsoft put a pirate game on their competing platform,
Yep.
PlayStation, which could not be like there is nothing that could happen cosmically that would make life worse for Skull and Bones. Like
Yep.
the one other pirate game that people know of literally broke through a decades old wall to get onto a new platform just so that it could shit on Skull and Bones.
It feels like there's like you're right, like it's like a cosmic event. Like it feels like some elder god made this happen and like brought down that shroud just to fuck with Skull and Bones and use Gibbo.
Yes.
And like maybe that cosmic entity is called Vivendi. It's like, you should have sold to us, bitch. It's like, oh, okay, you're right. We messed up. We didn't know what we were doing, actually. For January hardware spending, that fell 4% when compared to January 2023 to $378 million. Growth in the Xbox Series hardware dollar sales, it grew in dollar sales, which was double digit according to Matt Piscatella. Though that increase could not offset declines from the other consoles. I think this, and not like, oh, Xbox is in like some great position. PlayStation 5 was still the best-selling hardware platform of January 2024 in both units and dollar sales. Switch was second in unit sales. Xbox Series was third in unit sales, but second in dollar sales. I think that like that whole story right there tells us like, hey, hardware is in a position where, yeah, people are still buying these consoles, but it's not, don't expect some kind of big growth spike for the console industry going forward. There are a lot of people who spend a lot of money on consoles, but they've mostly already showed up to the party, and we're not like seeing an influx of new people being like, oh, I would love to buy a $500 piece of hardware so I could play games, when they're already probably just doing that on their phones or whatever. This is, I think, the underlining foundation of all of the anxieties that we see from PlayStation about their future and from Microsoft about its shifting strategy. I think this informs all of that, right? That the fact that we look at console sales and they're just kind of,
Yeah, like there's only so long that you can rely on that stuff before having to move on to business ideas that extend the life of them. I feel like that's where most of the effort now is. So much money goes into R&D and production, manufacturing, marketing of hardware that you more quicker than in previous generations, you need to switch to finding ways to give those things longevity. Especially as games like rapidly, I think games advance at a rate that is much more rapid than previously. You know what I mean? Like they become more taxing, and not necessarily from a technological perspective. Like you can have the same kind of technology involved in making games and software, but the ambition grows so quickly these days that it's like the life cycle, the half-life of a console these days is like much lower. Like it's quicker, so you have to figure out ways to give that piece of hardware a longer life, and some of that is like through games as a service titles, largely unsuccessful in many ways, but a lot of it is also like revising hardware for that slimmer model and that kind of stuff. And yeah, it makes perfect sense.
I think what like when these companies try to tell us that, like, hey, we know you guys are all very diehard about these hardware platforms and you love your consoles. We get that. It's just, and you are showing that by showing up early and buying these things when they're more expensive than ever before. And that is also reflected in, Matt points out here that through 39 months in the market, life-to-date unit sales of PlayStation 5 is now tracking 7% ahead of PlayStation 4 and 68% ahead of PlayStation 3. So it's like, the people have shown up and they were so excited about PlayStation 5 that they didn't care. $500 as soon as it was available and they could get it from a retailer that they trusted, they bought it. And now most of the people have done that. That's like they've already shown up to the party. It is expanding to new audiences that isn't happening necessarily. And that's why Sony is saying, hey, our outlook for the next year in terms of hardware sales is not as bright as it was last year or the current year. And for the current year, we're not hitting our target that we expected to hit. So it's like, okay, like they both are going to have to figure out some new ways. You're right. And then that's going to look like well, let's put out a slim model, or for Xbox and for PlayStation, it's probably going to mean PlayStation 5 Pro that they can do two things with: set to $600 so that their average sales price is higher, and they can sell it to people who already have a PlayStation 5 that like to upgrade. That same hardcore audience that already showed up to the party, they will keep it going by buying something that, getting someone new who isn't into consoles to spend $500 is way more difficult than getting someone who already has a PlayStation 5 that is diehard to spend another $600 on something you tell them is even more important to make their games run better. So it's an obvious strategy.
The people who are in that position, they see the value in doing that because it's a thing that they probably look at and use pretty much every day of the week.
I'm one of those people for Nintendo consoles for sure, and I'll probably get a PS5 Pro, honestly.
Yeah, if that thing comes out, I would very likely look into getting one because it's like I use this thing pretty much every day. $600, break it down per day. It'll probably last me another year, 2. I'm down for that. Yeah, it is, and it's also like this is why. This is kind of a slight tangent, but this is why PlayStation games are now appearing on PC, and Xbox games are now appearing on PlayStation and PC. Like
Correct.
I think people don't realize how difficult it is right now to recoup money and also make money in the video game industry. And so like measures like this, like moving platforms or growing what platforms are available, sound like the end of the world to people who are used to segregated console worlds, but don't need to think about the process of ensuring your business remains healthy or is living up to the expectations of shareholders. They don't have to think about that. So that is why, but ultimately, your fan concerns are never gonna match the need to make more money, and maintain a healthy business. And you can be as upset as you want about all this stuff; it's gonna happen.
And that frustration you feel with like, hey, I spent a ton of money on this stuff. I look around, I see a bunch of other people spend a ton of money. Isn't that enough for these companies? And the frustration should be that no, because the way the system is set up, they have to make more money than they did last year. Infinite growth is required to keep their investors happy. Your problems with this is a problem with capitalism as a whole, as always. And these companies are sort of handcuffed to that. What can they do?
Listen, gamers, if you want to be the winning console in this race, you need to destroy capitalism.
Overthrow capitalism, and then you'll
gamers, overthrow capitalism, and the consoles and the console segregation will return. If anyone can do it, it's the gamers.
Dan, when I say a PlayStation 5 Pro coming out this year probably costs $600, do you flinch at that at all? Do you think that's probably right? Do you think it could cost more than that? Because the way I see it is it gets set up at $600 or at least $550 so that the next gen can easily come in and they're like, no question, that's going to be at least $600.
Yeah, I think between 500 and 600 sounds about right. I'm just trying to think about what they could do to differdifferentiate it because the PS5 is pretty
very
beefy
good point
as a console.
And what's the buzzword? We knew what the PS4 Pro buzzword was, 4K, and that worked.
Yeah,
8K is not going to work, right?
I don't think it's going to work because most people are savvy enough these days to know that their TV can't handle it.
Yep.
I think like FPS kind of stuff is too nitty gritty for a larger audience to use that as a marketing beat that they can work off. I feel like for what Sony and this generation is trying to get out of it, trying to add more to the PS5 is probably not going to result in much of a kind of like change in interest. But
do you think they could
in value proposition? Sorry, not in interest.
I mean, listen, value proposition. If they come in and say like you're gonna have significantly more storage and all this stuff, a lot of people will be like, well, I never wanted to install a hard drive myself. I'll just buy this new one. But I think the possibility here is that they probably find a way to say AI a lot. AI upscaling, AI improvements. AI is going to make your games run better. I don't know if I get too excited about that. And I think there's a lot of people
is the phrase AI, has it lost the kind of
I think it has a little bit,
around
but
it?
what choice what better alternative is there for them? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either. It's very interesting.
I'm very curious to see what the marketing team settles on.
The funny thing is, I bet if PlayStation VR 2 was like anyone gave a shit, they could be like, this plays VR games
Yep.
way better. But
No,
like,
no one. I mean,
they
they don't give a
released
shit.
that thing and just shoved it into a corner, and it is. I cannot believe the treatment that PlayStation VR 2 got.
I mean,
Like it is
in hindsight.
unreal to
In
me.
hindsight, I look back and I see it's like that felt like something that Sony was interested in, because they had like hardware teams. They're like, we'll design some cool VR hardware for you and all that stuff, and we'll put it out. And PlayStation's like, oh, okay, well, we're not going to make a ton of games for it. So, and that's exactly where we are. Did you see the story that they are going to try to like get PSVR 2 working on PCs this year? Like Sony's like,
good luck to him, man.
Right.
The headset is good, but like,
yeah. I mean, and the price is good compared to like buying an Index or any new plug-in PC VR headset that is like around $800, $900. I'm just like, my comparison point is the Quest 3, which it's not even good enough. I am more than happy with the Quest 3, and it functions perfectly with Wi-Fi 6E, a 6 gigahertz connection connected over the Steam Link, and it's great. So I have no need for it. And the Quest 3 is much less expensive.
I have a Quest 3 as well, and yes, in every possible way, it is a better value proposition, and functionality is better. And and one of my biggest criticisms for the PSVR 2 was like, it doesn't have very much that you can't do anywhere else. Like, you can't play anywhere else.
Oh yeah, there's no software that stands out anymore.
No, not at all. And even Horizon, I was like, this is fun, but like, there's no new concepts in here.
Yep.
Like this, everything you can do in Horizon, you can do in other games on other platforms.
Yep.
So I don't know what it is that you want out of it.
Well, we'll see. I doubt we're going to see much more of VR support from them. They are probably going to just slowly let that thing fade away. And then in the end, we're going to look back and be like, man, this is worse than like the Vita to the PSP, PSVR 2 to the PSVR 1. It's like this got even less support and just was sent out to kind of die.
What is going on with the focus on my camera? It is insane.
Do you want my real opinion? I think it's racist.
Oh yeah, it just doesn't want to show me.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, this is not the kind of skin that.
This is not my. Yeah, the camera's like, this is not my favorite skin. I'm sorry, bud.
I think it's because this room just gets way too much light, and it's like, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the frames in the background, but I don't think so. I think it's probably just like, well, it's probably not great software anyhow. But yeah. What camera are you using?
I'm using a Canon EOS R, a very expensive and good camera.
You know what I do when cameras do this to me is I just turn off autofocus and I do it myself, and I try to just like stay in the butter zone for the pull. But
maybe if I turn this ring here.
There it is.
That's not it.
There it is. Get in close. Well, Tam figures that out. Last thing here, accessory spending was up 45% to $246 million. Gamepad spending increased over 50% year on year. The PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge was the best-selling video game accessory of January in dollar sales. And I think that speaks to a lot of hardcore PlayStation fans ready to spend a lot of money on their favorite platform, and they will show up for a PS5 Pro. The PlayStation Portal was shifted from hardware to accessories by Circana, because they were like trying to figure out where to place it, and they're like, this is more of an accessory. It ranked 5th among video game accessories and consumer spending during January, so not exactly lighting the world on fire, but maybe that could be supply constraints, which I didn't keep track of it in January. That could be that.
Jeff, I don't want to alarm you, but we're half an hour into this and we're still on the first story.
And moving on, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has fallen short of expectations, Warner Brothers Discovery says. This is from Darren Bonthus at GameSpot. In a financial call, Warner Brothers Discovery said that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has fallen short of expectations. We talked about this a little bit, but them just come out and saying it. There it is. Let's cut to the chase here. Tam, what do you think the future of Rocksteady is?
Oh God, I think that they deserve another shot. I think that they deserve another shot unimpeded. I think they deserve another shot where they are the masters of their own destiny to the extent that can be allowed.
Agreed. Do you think that's possible under this current Warner Brothers that we just said is heaping trash fire?
I think a lot of what Rocksteady's fate depends on the Wonder Woman game.
That makes sense.
Like, if that game comes out and it is absolutely like ridiculously good and pops off, I think that Monolith, right?
Monolith, right? Yes, that is correct.
Yeah,
The
I feel like
the Mordor team, yes.
yeah. I feel like WB sees they see that and be like, all right, cool. We're gonna make this our the jewel in our crown, and probably Rocksteady gets to either hang on until they make another game that everyone's like, oh shit, or they end up just having to like be a support studio, which is a shame.
Yeah,
I
God.
genuinely believe that team is capable of making, because there is flashes of really cool ideas, writing, like art in Suicide Squad. The thing about it is just utterly crushed by the bullshit games as a service stuff in there. And I'm hoping that they can, get that one more chance to show that they are still that team, because I do believe they are. But that chance is bestowed upon them by moronic executives. So I don't know. I fear for it, but I have confidence in the studio. I don't have confidence in the system.
I echo all that. That's exactly where I'm at. I stand with you. I hope they get one more chance to make the game they want to make. They deserve that after this, especially after this.
Yeah, I also I feel the same about the Montreal studio.
Yeah,
like, they were forced to make that Gotham Knights game, basically. And if that could have been a really cool game, if it wasn't that kind of game,
right?
Yeah,
I mean, hopefully they're able to argue, hey, look at Harry Potter and what that can do. Let us just do something in the vein of that. And obviously going back to our roots for both of those studios, especially Rocksteady, we'll see if they're able to make that argument stick at a Warner Brothers that is completely just trash. Skull and Bones hasn't yet reached 1 million players, even with its free trial, according to a report.
No way.
This is from Evan Campbell at GameSpot. Apparently, people have decided it's not a pirate's life for them. A new report states Skull and Bones has only seen about 850,000 players total since launching last week, and that number includes free trial users. Insider Gaming spoke with sources about metrics for Skull and Bones, discovering the pirate game has failed to reach 1 million players so far. Why that's particularly concerning for Ubisoft is the fact that there's a free 8-hour trial of Skull and Bones available on all platforms. However, supposedly people who do set sail on the title are averaging roughly 3 to 4 hours of playtime daily. I mean, that's self-selection bias, right? The people who are going to be the most excited about it are the only ones playing. Yeah, okay. This is Suicide Squad we talk about, man, it's like it's somewhere between 1 million, 2 million in sales. It didn't meet expectations. We can all tell that. Skull and Bones is like not even registering. I think go ahead.
I think Skull and Bones is easily the worst thing happen to Michelle Rodriguez in her life. Easily.
I'm like trying to think, right? Dying and then coming back to life. That could have been her character. I'm not sure. That seemed okay.
That's rough, man.
Yeah,
that's rough. Imagine she has to live life being the face of Skull and Bones now. Brutal, absolutely brutal. Somewhere Vin Diesel's like, I told you not to.
You should have come with me to Ark.
All
right. I don't even have the energy to dunk on Skull and Bones beyond this. It's like, I'm gonna forget about this game in a month.
It sucks. It's unfortunate for that studio.
Of course.
It is again. I'm so certain that it's fucking annoying executives that force this through.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of times when I talk to developers, a lot of these ideas come from the studio. And I'm like, I believe that. But I also know that they come from the studio because they know those are the ideas that can get greenlighted. And you want to get the money to make the games so you can grow your studio because you care about the people that work with you. And so, and that is, colored by what the executives want. That's also true. All right, let's take a quick break. When we get back, a lot more to talk about, including Riot's new fighting game finally getting its name. And a lot of people have an opinion about that, although I'm like, seems fine to me. We'll get all of that right after this. And we're back. Riot's Project L finally has a title, and it's definitely unique. This comes from Eric Heidelbach, Furu at Game Reactor. Last time we heard anything noteworthy about Riot Games' Project L, the upcoming 2v2 tag-based fighting game, was when the studio showed some gameplay and revealed its EVO plans back in August, so it's understandable if you don't know much about the game. But you'll see and learn a lot more this year. Riot has finally announced that Project L's actual title will be 2XKO. This announcement is accompanied by 2 videos. The first one shows off some of the cool characters and environments in the game, while the other one is mostly executive produced Tom Cannon telling us the executive producer, Tom Cannon telling us they learned a lot from playtest at EVO, and that even more demos and playtests are planned for both at events and digitally throughout 2024. The game is scheduled to come out in 2025, I believe. How do you feel about the name 2XKO, Tam?
I think it's absolutely fine. I have no issue. It's a 2v2 fighting game.
Right.
You have to knock out 2 characters. Just call it 2KO, as in TKO.
Yeah.
Grow up. Like, just move on with your lives. Why is everyone complaining about this? It's called 2KO. Like, people still say Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or MVC 3 or UMVC 3. You can say 2KO. It's fine.
You're allowed to say 2KO.
It'll be okay.
And I kind of like it. I think it sounds cool.
I think it's fine. It does. There's no other game that, like, you're not going to mistake that for anything else. Like, you're not going to be like, is that the Capcom one? No. It's fine.
I mean, it separates it from that, and it also separates it from Eternal of the Grave Butts, like whatever the fuck, all of Riot's other game names.
Do you want another? Also, like, do you want like an Under Night in Birth, where like whatever the fuck those games are up to now? It's just like, come on, man.
Yeah, lore of the Nine-Tail guy. Like, it's so good that they get to stand out from all the other Riot slop, and then from other fighting games. Yeah, it's unique.
I genuinely think 2KO is a good way to refer to it, and it sounds good. It's easy to say. Like, you're going to play some 2KO, get some sets in 2KO. Evo's main stage game is 2KO. Yeah, it's fine.
And people are like, I'm not sure about it. Once they start playing, it becomes their game. They will never think about the name again. It will just become secondhand, as always. Have you gotten your hands on this game?
People are asking, why didn't they drop the X? Probably because 2K is something that gets them in trouble in the video game industry.
But Tam's 100% correct. They would get a cease and desist if their game started with 2K. Like, yes. So 2XKO, that still is like implies what it is. 2 times KOs. Yeah. I mean, and then you could still call it 2KO colloquially. Have you played this game? Because I know it was playable at EVO. I don't know if it was playable anywhere else. Okay.
I haven't been anywhere where it's been playable. Like, I would love to check it out. It looks really cool.
It looks cool.
The team behind it is super, super solid. Like the Cannons, and like they are behind the GGPO like netcode,
that's
which
them.
is what
the rollback netcode that everyone always asks for in fighting games. If you
literally
are
everyone uses is them. Yeah, like that team is super, super interesting, and I'm excited to see them. Like some of the pedigree of people who are working on there is it gives me confidence in this game.
Same. And Sean did play it. I believe he played at EVO, and he says he really liked it. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to check it out. And like you said, it looks really good. Mark Wahlberg was told to start growing your mustache in preparation for the Uncharted sequel. This is from Ben Lyons at Game Reactor. The Uncharted movie was a bit of a mixed bag. The film seemed to do relatively well at the box office, but received middling reviews at the same time. Still, this hasn't seemed to sway Sony and PlayStation Productions from wanting to return to the franchise, even if the lack of conversation surrounding the sequel has been limited and near non-existent for years. However, this could all be changing soon, as Mark Wahlberg has revealed to Screen Rant that the studio behind the film has asked him to start growing his mustache to return as Sully, and that the script for the movie has arrived.
This is clearly someone at the studio fucking with Mark Wahlberg. Mark, grow your mustache.
What's happened with Uncharted 2? I don't know. Fucking tell him to grow his mustache. And then just hangs up on him.
Yeah. They're like, Mark, you need to grow your mustache. I think it's happening. And he's like, all right, buddies.
Yeah.
And he's growing his mustache.
Sends him like selfies like to the executive producer. Like, wait, what are you talking about? We're not making that ever.
Yeah, we're not doing this.
I never saw the Uncharted movie. I have no opinion on it. I don't really care to see it. Not like I'm like against it or something. It doesn't move me at all. I don't know. How about you, Tam? That's all I have to say about it.
I am. If there are people out there who are interested in this movie, good for you. I'm happy for you. I don't really care. Like,
yeah.
I watched the trailer, for the Uncharted movie, and I was like, I have no interest in seeing this. I'm alright. Unless someone like invites me to like watch a screening of it or something like that, I'm not watch this. I'll instead rewatch Demolition. Goodbye.
Marino says they find an artifact in a Papa John's in Spain.
Okay, now I'm in.
And I'm like, yeah.
Right, now I'm in.
If that's for real, I need to see that for myself, actually. Apparently, there's a lot of Papa John's references. Is Shaquille O'Neal in the movie eating at a Papa John's? Because that would rule. I would be very happy about that.
I would love that too.
All right.
Make a sequel to the Gran Turismo game or a movie. Apparently, that's very good. I've not seen it.
I've not seen that either. Neil Blomkamp.
Right.
I run hot and cold on him, but yeah, I've heard good things about that movie as well.
Yeah.
And I probably would check that out before I would check out Uncharted.
Combine them. Make the PlayStation Cinematic Universe. Put Nathan Drake in the Gran Turismo universe, and then stick him in
Ratchet
the
Clank.
Killzone world.
Yeah. Speaking of,
I don't know why I don't get to make these decisions.
You clearly should. I mean, you're rolling. You haven't even done
I'm
all that Hollywood
cooking.
cocaine, and you're already coming up with all these ideas. So yeah, just imagine. Hideo Kojima documentary "Connecting Worlds" is now on Disney Plus.
I am interested in. Let's go.
I thought so. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. Kojima Productions and PlayStation Productions documentary Hideo Kojima Connecting Worlds. Hideo Kojima : Connecting Worlds is available now on Disney Plus. The hour-long film, which was announced last summer.
Hideo Kojima's : is Connecting Worlds?
It's Connecting Worlds. Takes viewers on a journey into the creative mind of the famed Japanese game developer. The documentary also includes appearances by Guillermo del Toro, Grimes, George Miller, Norman Reedus, and Chiverches. Embark on a compelling behind-the-scenes journey as Hideo Kojima Connecting Worlds unveils the visionary mind of Hideo Kojima, weaving the intricate creative threads that birth a groundbreaking game and reshape the landscape of interactive storytelling. You think it's going to be like an hour-long version of Jordan Peele on stage, just being like, man, I played this game when I was high and a teenager and it ruled. It's going to be that.
Grimes, huh? That was a choice.
Grimes is always a choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Grimes, huh? I mean, I'm going to watch this because I find him fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
And I love all of his work. And I'm one of those. I'm Kojima pilled, obviously, but as someone who is a lifelong fan of Kojima, I can't tell you how little interest I have in other celebrities telling me how much of a fan of Kojima they are. I do not care. I just cannot. Like Jordan Peele, I think he's an incredible filmmaker. But listen, Jordan, I don't give a fuck what you think about Hideo Kojima.
Yeah,
Get out of the way. In, out. Just say, I like this guy, and move on with your life. I don't need to hear you vaguely talk about Metal Gear Solid in a way that's not interesting in any regards. Like, if it's like here's a podcast with Jordan Peele where he breaks down why
have a conversation, that's fine. Yeah.
That's great. If it's, and that could be what this is, where it's like, but I fully anticipate it's going to be like Del Toro going to be like, he's the Steven Spielberg of video games.
Yes, it is going to be that. And that stinks. You're right. It completely stinks. I'm much more interested in the people who are on the ground talking about it.
Here's the thing, right? Who's going to watch this? Gamers. Why? What are gamers going to take away from it? Other than, it's a bunch of people glazing up Kojima, which I can go to Twitter for that.
Yep.
You can hit me up for that. I'll do that for you for free. And it won't take an hour. It'll take maybe 15 minutes. Fine. Yeah, you need to make it interesting for the very niche audience that you are targeting here. No one's going to be searching through and being like, I'm trying to find the new Iron Man movie. Oh, there's a movie about someone called Hideo Kojima on here. I'm going to watch that.
You're completely okay. And that
if you're on Disney Plus, go and watch Gargoyles instead.
That's a really good advice. Now, Kojima, I know you're listening because you love watching the episodes when Tam is on. I get it. Coming close. Go get a hold of Digital Eclipse. Go talk to them and say, hey, make a Gold Master version of Death Stranding for me. and let us play prototypes of that game. Have them do the digital storyline, tell the history of you, like, hey, you left a company. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do stuff with Konami. That's fine. I want the gold master of your life since Konami making Death Stranding. Let them be their big AAA version of this gold master stuff. They're doing the Jeff Minter one next month, whatever. The next one should be Kojima, Death Stranding. Please make it happen. That would be incredible.
I think you should talk about Metal Gear Solid, but only refer to the character as Lizard instead of Snake, and that way Konami can't do anything.
There you
this
go.
Is Liquid Lizard. This is Solid Lizard. There's Solidus Lizard as well.
Hey, buddy, can you turn the volume down on Link? Thank you.
Yeah.
Nvidia's new. Okay, well, this is the best news of the day. You ready, Tam? Nvidia's new app doesn't require you to log in to update your GPU driver. This is from Kevin Purdy at Ars Technica.
Wow, this is genuinely like a game changer.
This is so exciting to me.
Oh my god, Nvidia's login system to update your graphics drivers is like the worst hostage situation of all time.
Yes, and now, like, I have my conspiracy theory about why they're okay with like losing that data on us here in a second, which is like not not great, but whatever. Nvidia has announced a public beta of a new app for Windows, one that does a few useful things and one big thing. The new app combines the functions of 3 apps: Control Panel, GeForce Experience, and RTX Experience into one app.
Oh no.
Listen, as long as they fix that clicking with RTX Experience, I'll be fine. Setting display preferences on games and seeing exactly how each notch between performance and quality will affect it in its settings is far easier and more visible in the new app. The old-fashioned control panel is still there if you right-click the NVIDIA app's notification panel. Installing the new beta upgrades and essentially removes the Experience and control panel apps, but they're still available online. Most importantly, NVIDIA's new app allows you to update the drivers of your graphics card, the one you paid for, without having to log into an NVIDIA account. This is something that people have complained about for years. I've just got to a point where I'm like, I am going to use my Google, so I just click the button to say sign in through Google. It'll take me to my browser, and as long as I'm signed in there, I just got to hit one more button. So I've made it as painless as possible. Every time, though, I'm like, why the fuck am I logging into my GPU? It's right there. I can look at the thing. Why do I have to do this? Now, of course, they wanted data. Now, why don't they want our data anymore? I think they're like, man, we're going to make so much money from AI. We are the company that is going to power AI that we don't even care about your data anymore. That is small potatoes compared to the trillions of dollars that we are looking down the barrel of. It kind of feels like that to me.
Or they finally mined the data that they needed.
Right. They got everything they need, right?
Reached the point. They're like, we have so much data now that we can truly create the worst gamer. And they have everything they need. They're just going to, one day in the future, they're going to introduce Adam, the worst gamer. And he's just going to be the most toxic dickhead on the internet.
Adam Kyle Gary, the number one gamer from Nvidia. Yes. He'll play Helldivers with you.
Here's your official gaming assistant. It's going to be like Siri, but for gamers, and his name is Adam. And he's just going to be like, you're going to be like, Adam, can you show me how to defeat this Dark Souls boss? And he's gonna be like, get good, loser. Yeah, get good.
Oh, little baby need a bottle. Get good.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up, Adam.
Adam hasn't done it. He doesn't know how to do it.
Oh boy. All right, let's hit this last couple of stories here. Mortal Kombat 1's Peacemaker DLC stars John Cena and arrives next week for Kombat Pack owners. This is from Chris Gullion at VGC. Peacemaker next week. Mostly I want to talk about this because did you see John Cena's fucking interview with Howard Stern? Oh, yeah, OnlyFans. Yes, he does have. What's up with that? Ricky Stenicki?
It's some marketing thing. Like it's got some. Apparently, it's got some like safe for work stuff on it.
Probably, yes,
it's like
I'm sure.
2 pictures or something, which is like very funny.
He did an interview with Howard Stern where he's like, "I still love Vince McMahon, and I."
Oh no! Don't say that.
Yeah, it's rough, and it actually kind of gets worse. He goes, and I want to do what I can. Like, I recognize that he messed up, but I want to be there for the people in my life that I love. And then I also want to like do the right thing and like turn to the entity that I love and do what it say. How can I help? It's like, wait, are you talking about WWE? You're like, you want to be like, how can I help WWE? You didn't say anything about the victims, homie. What are you saying? Please shut up. Please stop talking.
This is John Cena is currently wrestling his career.
Yeah, I mean,
what he's doing.
You know what the problem is like, you ever see Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
And you know how like he talks about like, oh, I fit into the military like a round peg. John Cena fits into WWE like Forrest Gump fit into the military, and he just can't see the world beyond the WWE and wrestling. It's all just like, hey, are there some sick kids over there? Yeah, I'll help them. That like makes my character look even better. And then did someone some terrible thing happen? Well, I need to be here for the WWE. It's baffling that he would say these things.
I think more people need to take the approach that the Iron Sheik would have had, which he'd probably be like, Vince McMahon is big baby. I will destroy him in public. That's what you need to be doing, okay?
Yep. And yeah, John Cena, your career's already beyond the WWE. I mean, I get being
just relax,
loyal, but
man. Grow up. It's fine. Like, also, like, read about why people are upset and like why he's like getting shit. It's not something you want to defend it.
Yeah, it's not something it's not like, oh, Vince McMahon just needs love and that's going to heal this problem.
It's like, oh, it's a matter of opinion. No. This man's a wrongin'.
Yep.
And so, he's got other wrestlers who are along with for the Riot being wrongins.
And so timing that up with the Peacemaker DLC, that kind of sucks for this game, but whatever. John Cena.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking like people are very excited that Stephanie McMahon will potentially come back and do shit?
If Stephanie McMahon comes back, people should be excited because she's like the only human being in that family. Yes.
Is she not a wrong'un?
She's not.
It seems like
she's a good person.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it seems like for a little while everyone was like, "Oh, Triple H is cool," but I don't trust her.
I don't.
He looks like a wrong'un.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, like. I personally find it hard to believe that he wouldn't have known and been able to do something, and he didn't do something.
I mean, I imagine she knew as well, but like,
yeah, but she's in a position like where it's like it's family, and it's. I mean, I don't want to excuse anyone. I don't know. How much she would know because I think Vince McMahon would do a lot to stop her from knowing because I think he cares about that.
I'm of the opinion that none of them are good, and they should let
you should be in charge. Yeah.
I'll be in charge of WWE. Let me tell you some things about the WWE that will change everything. Okay.
You don't have enough stuff to make a hot air balloon, kiddo. I will help you as soon as I'm done here. Okay. You gotta go get like a little thing, or if you got some of the pieces to like use the Ultra Hand thing, the purple hand, but we don't. I think you used it all, so we can't make a hot air balloon. She's playing Tears of the Kingdom, everybody, and she's figuring it out, but it's getting kind of frustrating sometimes. You need more resources, kids. Sorry. Helldivers 2 increases player cap to 700,000, but CEO warns it will still likely max out. This is from Chris Scully.
I have not played a single second of Helldivers, and I have tried many times.
Yeah, I thought I've seen you try. Yeah,
I have been for literally days. I've been like, please let me play, please, and like I've left it on for like hours on end, and it won't connect, and I'm just like.
Let the man play, everybody. Get off. You saw they did do the AFK thing where if you're away for 15 minutes, the thing will finally kick you because people were just staying logged in for days at a time so they could save their spot. So they would go to work and come back and they would still be logged in. And now that won't happen anymore. But basically, the CEO's just saying this is the final push that we're going to be able to do to make this game serve as many people as possible. But
that was the most dad moment I've ever seen.
Listen, that's where I'm at right now. I was like, oh, I'm coming into this one not feeling great. And you guys all got an experience of it right there. That's just where my body is. It's a wonderland, I've heard John Mayer say about my body. 700,000 is a lot. They should be able to get most people in there, but they think it's going to keep growing, so it's probably going to max out. I want to play this game this weekend. This is one that I've been looking forward to getting back into, so I'm going to try to do that. We'll see. Real quick, 250,000 copies sold of Balatro in the first 3 days. So that's very good for that game. It's
hell yeah, that game's great.
It is very good. All right, that does it for the news. Let's get to a poll question. I have that over here. While I get that set up, Tam, why don't you tell people what you have going on? Tell them once again where they can read your latest review and all that good stuff. My
latest review is on GameSpot.com. Yesterday there was a dude who was like, GameSpot and IGN's review spoils the ending, and I was like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And like it got like a crazy amount of retweets, and like I got non-stop shit and I'm still getting shit about it because once it's been said, it's been said, but it doesn't have spoilers. And in fact, that person deleted their tweet quietly and was like, no, it's fine. But it is completely spoiler free. despite what you may have heard. And it is on GameSpot. Hopefully you enjoy it. It is very long. It's about 5,000 words ish, but I'm of the opinion that I was like, this is a big game. Final Fantasy means a lot to a lot of people, and I want to make sure I spend every word I need to make sure that I'm justifying my score properly and people understand what they're getting into. So yeah, it's there if you want to read it. I'd appreciate it, because reviews are long things to write, and I'd read any review. That's what I'm saying.
They are
not
labor
just GameSpot.
intensive. Yes.
Yeah, go to IGN, read their review. Go to everyone who you may know, Games Radar, wherever it may be, and read their reviews. And yeah, that's what you can do.
All right. Let's see here. Poll question from yesterday. Are you going to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
I might stream it this week. I might make it come back I might make my comeback stream Final Fantasy.
That's a good call. That's a good idea. People,
Maybe.
I'll tell you, people seem interested in this game because only 25% said it's not for them. 22% said they're going to wait till it comes to PC. The majority of people say they're going to play it either later this year or right away. 22% say they're going to play it later this year, and 31% say they are going to play this game right away. And that's 3,000 votes, 3.2 thousand votes there. So the excitement for this game has reached fever pitch, it seems like.
It's a great game. It's got Tifa in it.
It does have Tifa.
Great.
I did see the bathing suit and that.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about the bathing suit.
Well,
the bathing suit is another good game, but like playing as Tifa is fun.
I did see that.
Yeah. Chi Trap, what a move. Incredible.
All right, let's see. I got a new poll question. Are you ready for Mark Wahlberg's mustache in Uncharted 2? Yes or no? We'll talk about that on Monday morning here on Game S Mornings on Giant Bomb. Speaking of Giant Bomb, later today on Unprofessional Fridays, Dan Reichert has made me get the Wii U out so I could play some of his old Super Mario Maker levels before they shut down the Super Mario Maker servers. I will be playing the levels that are apparently hell on earth, and I'm not looking forward to it, but I have to do my job, so I'll be doing that. That'll be UPF today. We'll have some fun with all that. And then we did BCR yesterday, so no BCR today, but feel free to check that out. It's a spoiler-free Final Fantasy VII Rebirth review conversation. After you get done reading Tam's review over in GameSpot.com, you're going to be thirsty for more. And you might want to hear him express some more opinions about why he felt the way he felt. You're going to be able to get that on that podcast. Check it out. It was a great conversation.
It's fun.
All right, Tam, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. As always, I love doing this show. So hopefully see you next week.
And until next time, you're the best audience in gaming. Have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye. Get some rest, everybody.
Grubb, you need to hang out after.
Yep. Hang on. Let me turn off YouTube. There we go.